ready for this? It's showtime. Lights, fans, action. Oh yeah, we've got action. Faster, tougher, more ferocious. There's nothing like League. This is the Betfred Super League.
Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Hello again, and post-Wembley and a dramatic Betfred Challenge Cup final, welcome along to another edition of Eddie and Stevo, the podcast. Thanks to the Rugby League's major sponsors, Betfred, for the continued support. Right, it was quite a Challenge Cup final, wasn't it? And we'll fully review all of that shortly. But headline news first this week, Stevo. The great game has had its first Knight of the Realm named. Arise, Sir Billy Boston of Wigan. News just announced in the King's Birthday Honours list. How good is this?
Fantastic news. And it's about time, isn't it? But congratulations, Billy, because when I was a young kid playing down the backyard, I always was playing you. You were my idol, my hero. And when I got to the point where I started playing, I had the pleasure of meeting up with him. And we became friends all the way through the broadcasting career, Eddie. And you could not wish to beat a lovely, lovely bloke as Billy Boston. And congratulations.
Yes, heartfelt words from Stevo, and I echo every single one of them. He joins David Beckham, Stevo, on this year's list, and it's described this as Rugby League's most prestigious moment to date, 130 years on since the game was first started.
Now, who was that other bloke you mentioned, Eddie? David who?
Sir David Beckham. You were the man who thought that David Beckham was about to buy Salford not long ago.
Listen, what a duo.
Yeah.
What a duo to think. Yeah, one of the greatest in soccer. And without a doubt, Billy Boston. If he couldn't get round them, he'd run over them. He was sensational. I'm so pleased for him. I'm so pleased for Rugby League. We've done it, Eddie.
Yeah, it's a great day. It really is. I mean, he was a Wigan player, made his debut on Friday the 13th. Some will say unlucky for some. Friday the 13th of March, 1953. I've looked briefly through his record. He only won 7 major honours in his Wigan career, but he was a try-scorer supreme, wasn't he? 31 Great Britain caps, 4 tries for Britain against Australia in the 1954 Test series. And he just truly, truly memorable. He was a World Cup winner, like yourself. 478 tries in 487 matches with Wigan over 15 seasons. I mean, he's got it all. He has got absolutely everything. Just fantastic for him.
It is. And as I say, rejoice. It couldn't have gone to a better person. I mean that. And he will now represent our wonderful game as being the first. I think it's sensational news. And congratulations to those people who have fought hard to make sure that the King has included him into the birthday list. Now, a lot of people are probably unaware, Eddie, it's not just in the UK that the King's birthday list is effective, because down under they call it the Order of Australian Medal, presented by, in the past, the Queen, of course, and now King Charles. And Gene Miles, the former Wigan, Brisbane Broncos star, will be awarded the OAM. Wonderful news.
Well, what a week for Wigan this is. What an absolutely fantastic week. The women trounced St Helens in their Women's Challenge Cup final, and now two of their former players will never, ever be forgotten. And certainly at Wigan, Friday, the 17th of July, the home game against Huddersfield, they're going to make it the Billy Boston tribute game. I hope they post the house full messages. I really do. Well done, Billy Boston.
Yeah, well done, my friend.
Right, on to the cup final. It's back in East Hull as the Challenge Cup for the first time in 40 years. Hull Kingston Rovers coming out on top at that dramatic Wembley final. 8-6, much closer than we all imagined, Stevo, but one of the best finals I think we've seen in recent years, this.
Yeah, I think everybody were just on tenterhooks, weren't they? It was a matter of, and it didn't surprise me. I expected it to go that way because of one reason. How many times do we hear defences will win you a game? I think there was only 2 or 3 clean breaks in the entire 80 minutes. That just indicates to me that both coaches, they wanted to make sure that they nullified the opposition. And a lot of people thought, oh, it wasn't a great game. I thought it was fantastic because you're on edge all the time. When's it going to be? When's there going to be a break? When they're going to this, that, and the other? And just little things that when I was watching, and I'm thinking, why didn't Warrington go for the field goal? There were just so many things that was going through your mind.
We said last week, Hull KR never give up. Then they eventually got the job done 2 minutes from time. Neutrals have said afterwards, though, Steve, Warrington, the better side overall. Do you feel sorry for them?
You've got to feel sorry for them. They did a better job until 3 minutes before the end of the game. I always thought to myself, they're setting up for the field goal, Warrington. And it would have counted, wouldn't it? When you think about the long term. But you've got to give Mikey Lewis, you've got to give him a lot of credit. It wasn't an easy kick. The ground was wet. It was not easy at all. But he just put it down, had a good look, turned around and kicked it. And it was end of the ball game.
It was, absolutely. The monkey's off the back now. First trophy in 40 years. There's talk of the treble, and Willie Peters, the coach, has said that's in their own hands. For Warrington, Matt Duffy's fractured his eye socket. He's out for several weeks. I thought Warrington executed their game plan perfectly, Stevo. Hull KR really, defensively fantastic, but a shadow of the side that we've seen this year. Do you think the Wembley nerves got to the better of them?
No. The simple factor is that Warrington increased their defence. They just snuffed out anything. I mean, if you want to go back and watch a replay of the game, as I mentioned earlier, there was only 2 or 3 clean breaks into open space that would have brought about a try. That's how good both defences were throughout the game. And it wasn't as though that it was a dry pitch. It was wet. It wasn't easy going. But 2 great coaches had in their mind and say, right, we have to just make sure the opposition does not make a clean break. A lot of the pundits were saying, oh, I didn't think it was a great final. I thought it was fantastic. Everybody, I was on the edge of the seat all the way through that game. I mean, I'm sorry for my mate, Sam Burgess. He's a Dewsbury boy. He knew 3 minutes away from turning up the odds. Hull KR were odds on to win that game. Okay, they finally got it within the last 3 minutes. And I can understand the pain that the Warriors fans and players have had to go through.
Indeed. Look, the elephant in the room is that last try. The debate began immediately after the final whistle. Should it have been given by video referee Jack Smith? No doubt Tom Davis got the touchdown. But should Aaron Lindop have been judged to have grounded the ball with his stomach in the scramble that ensued? What's your view?
I've just looked at the rules and regulations, and the try should have been awarded. The video referee got it spot on, because within those rules, it states that it's only an advantage to put your body over the line and make it dead and score the try for the attacking team, not a defending player. And of course, it was the defending player that is claiming that he had the upper torso to put the ball dead in goal. It doesn't affect the defending one. It only comes into play for the attack. Maybe they will change that rule now. But it's a weird rule. It's something that I never knew until I looked at the rules and regulations. And there it is.
Indeed, it seems to be an international rule. Now, I thought international rules were for international matches, not club matches, but obviously not. You know, you're right. They say intentional grounding the ball by the defending player in their own in-goal area is a separate rule from that is being used for scoring the try. So Lindop's grounding of the ball deemed unintentional, therefore decision correct.
Sadly for the Warrington players, the coach and all their fans, yes, it is correct. But it's a hard one to swallow, Eddie.
Oh, isn't it just? And certainly a heartbreaking moment for Aaron Lindop. The young man, only 19, distraught afterwards. Warrington, the club, the players will rally round him and support him, I'm sure. Steve, I would just hope it doesn't affect him too much moving forward, because he's a really bright future ahead of him, this young lad. My thoughts immediately went back to Don Fox, you know, and that goal kick that he missed in front of the post that year, you know.
I've got to admire the way that most of the players have come out publicly and said, we will support him. We're not pointing the finger of blame, etc. and so forth, because it was just a quirky situation of turning the rules to what is actually written down in black and white.
That's
so
right.
You can't blame him. He tried his damnedest to what he thought was putting his body on top of that ball in the in-goal area.
Only missed it by millimetres. He tried to shove it dead and just missed it. You know, he got to it so close, so close. Hey, it's sport, Stevo, isn't it? It's sport.
Well, it is. I mean, it's and what about the fact, you know, the man of the match, the third time he's won it.
I know.
And he's on the losing side.
I know. Inevitably, he said he'd preferred to have won the cup rather than the Lance Todd, but he'll take it home. Quite an achievement for him, though, and he jointly owns the record of 3 Lance Todd trophies now with Sean Long.
Yeah, you know, 2 great players. The thing is, but when the conditions started to get wet, Eddie, it was always going to be which side had the best kicking game. Warrington by far. Sneed was outstanding in that department. Kept pulling them around, kept turning them around, this, that, and the other. It was just a stroke of luck. The kick into the in-goal area should have been dead in goal. Can't be given because it's a defending player. Yes. It can be heartbreaking, Eddie. Never mind in a final. Any game, heartbreaking if you lose in the final 3 minutes.
Well, Aaron Lindop, as I say, teenager, he's got many, many more great days ahead of him, and it'll just go down in the history books. I've read, Stevo, that Willie Peters asked Mikey Lewis to practice his goal-kicking skills the week before Wembley, because
That's
Arthur
right.
Morg was cup-tied. Lewis said afterwards, nah, I didn't bother. He said he told his coach he was better just rocking up on the day and booting the goals over. He said he trusted the process. He knew if he got a good strike, the ball would be over, and it was. He's quite a character, isn't he, Mikey? He really is.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, listen, you've got to look at some of the past greats. My mind goes back to Alex Murphy. Look, Alex didn't mind saying a few words, did he?
No, not at all.
You've got to look, these stars within our game in any sport, but in rugby league, you've got to have that bit of cocky attitude. You know, listen, I'm the star, I'm the best. It's the end of the, and when they keep producing it, and another thing that the Warrington players and the fans will be disappointed with, that they kept him quiet. They did a magnificent job on him.
They did.
They never allowed him to take control. There's a man, Hulkinson Rovers, when he clicks, they score points. Well, he didn't click, apart from one, when he kicked the goal. But it's amazing how you've got to have that confidence. And he just said, practice? No way. If it comes up, I'll take it. He was so nonchalant. I was watching him there. It wasn't as though he was nervous. He just looked around, picked a nice spot to probably try to get a dry piece of grass, put the ball down, look back, whack, and he knew it. As soon as it left his boot. These are what I call the superstars of our game, Eddie. We've got to keep having superstars, and they keep coming along.
Well, I wonder whether the monkey is now off the back for Hull KR and they go on and win all three. This will happen, of course, over the next couple of months. Congratulations, as I said earlier, to Wigan women. They beat the four-time winners St Helens to lift the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup by an astonishing 42-6 scoreline. Wigan's first name on the cup, this is. And also to York Knights, who defeated Featherstone Rovers in golden point extra time in the 1895 Sundex Challenge Cup, ensuring a sixth new name on the trophy in its 6-year history and York's first ever win at Wembley. Now, I read that Paul Cook, in the pre-match build-up, the Featherstone coach, he said he'd chuck himself in the Thames if his team didn't win. I wonder, Stevo, did he? Do you think?
No, but he'll be disappointed. I mean, seriously, they were really, really odds-on favourites to pick it. And once again, look, Paul Cook was a player who had confidence. He was a man that he said, I can do it, I can win things, I can do that. And he's doing the same thing as a coach. And sometimes you've still got to have that attitude. They will be bitterly disappointed. But as you say, York Knights,
yes,
it's fantastic. And to lift the trophy is one of the greatest things that can happen to you as a player. You're battling against the odds. You're battling to lift that silverware. And I am so pleased. It's the first time. And let's hope that it can continue on.
Well, the finals, I should say, plural, will be back at Wembley, despite a drop in attendance this year compared to last year, in 2026. The date has been announced as well. It's been shifted back up the calendar. May the 30th is the date, back in its traditional May slot. I wonder if that will improve the numbers going down to Wembley, do you think? Because it looked a bit empty on the telly, I must say.
Yeah, I was disappointed. And in many ways, I may be wrong, but I thought that I was sat in the Hull Kingston Rovers end. And I thought that the Red and Whites had more fans, probably at least a third more than what was down at the Warrington end. I could feel the tension with the fans. And with about 10 minutes to go, Eddie, they were very quiet.
They were, weren't they? They thought it was
gone. The
Red
and Whites, yeah. They thought, and they knew that Warrington were just stopping everything that they tried. And the kicking game from Sneed just kept them turning around. Listen, the tactics from Warrington were fantastic until 3 minutes from the end.
Yeah. There's this shift of the date, by the way, Stevo, for 2026 at Wembley. Should we be concerned about the Magic Weekend next year? Newcastle's already been confirmed as the venue. The preferred options are either the first or second bank holiday weekend in May. Well, those dates are the 2nd, 3rd and 4th and the 23rd, 4th and 25th. That one particularly dangerously close to the cup final just announced. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But there are over 64,000 at Newcastle this year. I know it was going to go off the scale with IMG's ruling or decisions or thoughts. But the Rugby League don't want to give this away, do they? The Newcastle weekend is fantastic.
Oh, it is. I'm glad that they're taking it up to Newcastle again. I mean, it's always been a huge success. The only problem is with the predicament that you just thrown up, Eddie, with all those dates. Families can't afford to go to Newcastle and stay the weekend and also do Wembley.
No.
I mean,
no, that's my fear. That's my big fear.
You've got to feel sorry for, families up there cannot afford to really go to both.
Well, not twice in the 1 month, I would have thought. I mean, it is a predicament for them now. It is.
It is. And, I don't even know whether I'm still going to get my pension, because I've read this morning that the government has decided to give old age pensioners like you and I, right, the winter fuel allowance.
I know. But you're never in the country. You're never in the country for the winter.
Yeah, but even so, I was born and bred here and paid my taxes.
Well, when you get it and you're in Australia in the sunshine, send it over to me because I don't think I'm going to get it, that's for sure. All right, look, whatever else has been in the headlines over the past 7 days other than Wembley and Sir William John Boston, let's have a look. Whoa, here, Mal Meninga, it has now been confirmed, has got the job at Perth. So he's stepping down from his job as the national coach. It means the new name will be leading the Kangaroos into this autumn's Ashes series. First of all, who do you think's in line for the big job down under?
Oh, it's I don't really know. I don't think that either of the New South Wales or the Queensland coaches will get the nod. So it's really up in the air, and they're not going to rush. They won't rush over that sort of situation. And of course, we now know that Sam Burgess has made it quite clear that he will fill out his contract up to 2026 at Warrington. He did come out, was honest about it. They had contacted him. Would you be interested? And of course, he said yes. It's as simple as that. Now, last week I thought maybe he could have a chance to be the reserve or helping Mal Meninga.
What will Meninga's departure? What effect will it have on the Australian players? Does it matter? Does it matter that he's not going to be coach now?
The pressure that will be on the Australian players will be very interesting when it comes to selection. Of course, they won't select until after the day after the grand final.
And they won't select, presumably, until they get a new coach in place.
Well, the favourite is Brad Fittler. Brad Fittler has got runs on the board. Is young enough to make sure that he's not going to be swayed by, shall we say, being part of older players. Sometimes it can play a part when you look at a coach, a former player, maybe just a little bit biased in his selection. He's got to ensure to pick the right people who are playing at the right moment. And having said that, you talk about the second state of origin, which is coming up very soon, is that Dally Cherry Evans has been dropped.
Well, you thought that might happen, didn't you? You did think that would happen. Yeah.
Look, Billy Slater has said, no offence, he's had a discussion with him, but he's past his best. And that's the type of coach that Australia will want, is to say, we don't want people who are past great players. We want people, present players, who are great players.
Is Billy Slater in the mix for the national job, do you think, then?
Well, he'll probably throw his hat into the ring, but, I mean, at least it's been adventurous to drop Cherry Evans. When you say, I think he's 34, Cherry Evans, but he's also dropped Patrick Carrigan. He's on the bench, and to me, I think he's one of the best Tyro-style forwards that Queensland have. I mean, is fantastic. But as Slater has made it quite clear that they won't miss much by bringing in the young Tom Dearden. Dearden is a fantastic player. And look, Cherry Evans didn't have a great game in the first one. And how many times have we seen it? If you don't produce the goods, then the coach will drop you. And that is what has happened. They're desperate. Look, Queensland are desperate. I live in New South Wales, so come on the Blues. Never mind the Maroons. I want New South Wales to do it. They took
Thing is, Stevo, down there they can just go to the supermarket, the players' supermarket, and pick, a 5-star item off the shelf and plonk him into state of origin kangaroo jersey. They have a plethora of talent in Australia, don't they?
Yeah, and it's what we've been trying to emulate in this country, in the UK, is they bring so many junior development players and they slowly but surely fit them in. And they give them the opportunity to maybe give them the last 15 minutes in a game. It's not just the star players, and there's a lot, as you well know. It's the competition for being selected for Australia is immense because
Massive.
there are so many players that play at a high standard. And
Which leads me on to another point here, Stevo, because you've got news, I know, of Lewis Dodd, who left St Helens to go to the NRL. Not all the time the English players who go fit in. And isn't there some news that Dodd might be on his way home?
Well, there was talk about it, but I have to say that his agent has rejected all claims that South Sydney want to get rid of him. They've made it quite clear, South Sydney, is that he will be given the opportunity to play in the State Cup, which is like the reserve grade sort of situation, and they will support him and give him the opportunity. As they say, look, he hasn't become a bad player overnight. He's suffered a little bit through injuries, and hopefully that he can fight his way back into first grade, because he's on a reputed £350,000 a year contract, Eddie.
That's not coming home anytime soon, will he? He won't be coming home leaving that money behind anytime soon.
Well, you'd think not, but as I say, this is only the agent of Lewis Dodd that has claimed that South Sydney are still happy to have him on board.
You're not suggesting for one moment that agents speak with a forked tongue, are you?
I didn't quite catch that.
I thought not. Listen, last word about everything this week. Because of the success of the finals day at Wembley, more tickets being released for the Ashes series. So you never know. You're struggling for Everton. You're struggling for Headingley. You might get one for Wembley.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the trouble is that you're soon forgotten, Eddie.
Oh, I know. Well, not if your name's Billy Boston. You're never forgotten. I'll tell you that. You're never forgotten.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie. I'd love to just finish our podcast on one thing. Well done, Billy Boston.
Indeed. Hear to that. Stevo, great to talk. Did you enjoy your day at Wembley, by the way? I mean, I know it was a struggle to get a seat, but you got there in the end, did you? You enjoyed it?
Of course I did.
Good lad.
It's watching a game of rugby league. Can't beat it. No other sport comes anywhere near the greatest game of all.
Good on you, Stevo, and good on Billy B as well. See you in 7 days' time, okay?
Be good. Bye.